Eheim Jager Aquarium Thermostat Heater 75 watts in-depth reviews. This product has 4.5 stars based on 5,513 ratings and 1,790 reviews. 88% of customers have overall ratings of 4 or 5 stars, while ratings of 1 or 2 stars accounting for 8% of all reviewers. Let's look at a recent positive review. It said if used for about 5 years, still good as new. 300 watt Eheim in 24-inch tall 125-gallon tank. You have to submerge the heater completely, which I do vertically. The water level must not be more than 1/2 below the very top of the heater. It is marked with a line. So push it down further to give allowance for evaporating water in the tank before you refill the tank from time to time during a water change. It would also fit a 22 tall tank. A 20-inch tall tank, just barely if you don't have sand or gravel on the bottom of tank to reduce the height. Other models, not 300 watts, are shorter. Of course you can mount it horizontally or in between horizontal and vertical at an angle to fit in a less tall tank. Eheim has a product manual right here on Amazon. Down below. It keeps perfect temps within 1 degree. However, for me to set it at for 79 degrees temp, I put the dial at 76 and then it keeps the temp at 79 plus or minus a couple tenths of a degree, which is right where I want it. Larger tanks are easier to keep at a constant temperature and also easier to regulate nitrates, etc. A small tank takes much more care and attention. Beginners should buy the biggest tank they can fit and afford. Will be easier to keep fish healthy because the water will stay at temps longer and any chemical medicines or nitrate buildup will be kept from fluctuating up and down so much easier in a larger tank. Eheim is great because the temps stay absolutely the same. 3 degrees higher than the dial says on my example, but I know that, so it's not a big deal. I just make the allowance for it. Other heaters did not regulate temps that closely for us. Also, the longer heater element with more heater wire wrapped around on a longer core gives a more stable temperature cycle on and off than a shorter heater. Eheim is conservative quality. No fancy features, no built-in thermometer, nothing much to go wrong, just solid rugged construction. Reheat the suction cups with almost boiling hot water when they lose suction power over time. Then press the cups down on a flat surface right after scalding them, like on a kitchen countertop. They will regain their shape and power and last many years with that simple maintenance. Is there anything the product needs to be improved on? Let's take a look at a critical review. Written a review before, but thought this would be great information for anyone that reads it. I have never written a review before, but thought this would be great information for anyone that reads it. When this item was purchased in February, it worked flawlessly. I set the temperature as I needed it and it was great. 7 months later, I had adjusted the temp up 1 to 2 degrees on the twist knob to accommodate new fish placed in my setup. The unit then never stopped at the set temperature and continued to heat the water up to about 89 degrees, up from 82. When I caught it, it was still on and heating. Half of my fish have died. I have messed around with it a little bit now and it seems that something internal is sticking, making the unit worthless. So, just a heads up if you have or get one of these and adjust the temp. Keep a close eye on it. That's it.
Hey, it's Thomas here, and I'm going to show you how to set up, install, and calibrate your Eheim Jager heater. First off, to set up and install your Jager heater, remove the contents of the box, which includes the heater holder, and the Eheim suction cups. Next, attach the suction cups to the heater holder. Then, attach the heater holder to the heater. Next, simply turn the blue dial until the desired temperature, which is a number in Fahrenheit, stops in front of the red arrow. Turning the blue dial is the only way to change the actual temperature of the heater, lower or higher. The red arrow is only a reference point, and adjusting the arrow will not affect the thermostat of the heater. Once set, put the heater inside of the aquarium, close to a flow source like a filter or power head, and then plug it in, ensuring to have a drip loop. Now, before we move on to calibration, it's really important to make sure that you have a reliable thermometer on hand. This should not be a cheap stick-on thermometer, but rather a quality glass or digital thermometer that will have a reliable reading. If you have more than one thermometer to reference, that's even better. Eheim Jager heaters are preset at the factory and should be completely accurate out of the box. However, there are sometimes discrepancies between the temperature you set the heater to and the temperature you're achieving in your aquarium. If after 24 to 48 hours your aquarium temperature is stable, but not the same number that you set the heater to, you can remove the heater from the aquarium and adjust the red reference arrow by sliding the tab at the back of the heater left or right until it points to the temperature that your tank currently is. So if your heater is set to 78, but the tank is only 74, adjust the red arrow, not the blue dial, until it is pointing at 74. Once the reference is adjusted, you can then turn the blue dial until the red arrow hits 78, which is the temperature you were looking for, and then place it back in the aquarium. The heater is now calibrated and will heat to the correct temperature. Here are a few things to keep in mind. The amount of time your heater spends on or off will depend on a few factors, such as the volume of the aquarium, the ambient temperature of the room, the temperature you want to achieve, and the wattage of the heater. If the heater is not correctly sized, it may stay on nearly all the time or almost never come on at all. These aren't necessarily indications that there is a defect in the heater, but rather could just be an indication that an inappropriately sized heater was chosen. If the heater is set to a specific temperature like 78, but does not often come on and remains at a lower temperature such as 72, keep in mind it may not be defective and may just require recalibration. Much in the same way, if the heater remains on all the time and is overheating the aquarium, it is possible that it is not defective and stuck on, but rather simply needs recalibration. Aquariums over 150 gallons in size will likely require more than one heater in order to hit tropical temperatures in the average home aquarium. It is also recommended to use two smaller heaters rather than a single larger heater whenever possible. Using two heaters creates a more evenly heated aquarium as well as provides a backup in the rare event that one heater fails. Thank you so much for watching. If you have any other issues with your Eheim Jager heaters, feel free to contact Eheim support directly.
Overall, I'd have to say this heater works out really well. The only issue that I had with it is that I had to get the 125 watt for only a 10-gallon tank. That's kind of a big issue. They need to make sure their smaller heaters work out really well. But this one's worked out well, and even though it's a bigger heater, it needs me to bring it up to like 84 or something just to, you know, get the water to stay at a constant, oh, hello, she likes drinking out of there. Just to get the water to stay at like a constant 80 to 82 degrees. And it stayed there very reliably for the past about 3 or 4 months or so. And that filter that I've used, it's a good old 10-gallon filter. Oh my gosh. Oh wow. Anyway, and then we have the fish food here. So this stuff, it's all worked out. It's kept my fish quite happy. It's kept the water clean, and it's kept the water warm for the past 3 to 4 months.